My name is Kat. I use they, them, theirs pronouns. I'm a senior at SUNY New Paltz. I have a dual major in international relations and women's gender and sexuality studies.
My name is Julian. I use he, their pronouns. I am a biology major and a women's gender and sexuality studies minor.
I identify as gender fluid, which means I feel like my gender fluctuates depending on how I'm feeling or depending on the day usually. Sometimes I feel like a more masculine energy and other times I feel a more feminine energy. People who may identify as cisgender also experience this. I think it just manifests in different ways for them, or they just haven't really explored it. For me, I think I explore my gender nonconformity through the way that I dress and the way that I interact with certain people.
I identify as gender neutral, which means that I just exist beyond gender. People may call me a boy or a man, but I personally identify as an artist, a performer, a human being. I just exist beyond what I was assigned as a birth. Growing up Asian, I was always seen as less masculine than my Western peers. And then when I realized that I was gay, I knew that I would be even more demasculated.
I think my first coming out, I came out as pansexual, which is my sexual orientation, not necessarily my gender identity. Coming out as gender fluid, I think, is something I have to continually do every single day. Every time I'm in a room and we go around and say our names and pronouns, that's me coming out to those people in that room. And it will be a continual process for ever.
I was in high school in 11th grade, and I came out to one of my friends as bisexual. I haven't come out to my family because of cultural reasons, and because I don't want to sabotage the current family dynamic that I have with them. When I think about my sexuality, I see myself as open to all sorts of people and attracted to both masculinity and femininity.
I'm usually in contact with Emma Marcone, who's our LGBTQ advisor on campus. It's actually a new position that just got introduced with her being hired, which is really awesome.
A lot of things inspire me regarding working with and for the LGBTQ plus community. First and foremost, I'm out and open and proud member of the LGBTQ plus community, which allows me to understand that there are some very unique challenges that LGBTQ plus students and faculty, staff, employees who work here. These unique challenges mean that we might need some different programs, activities, support services than our straight identifying peers. I think the most inspiring thing though is getting to work one-on-one and with students in group settings, especially our LGBTQ or queer identified students. They are so inspiring to work for and to work with. In many cases, it might be doing programming like our National Coming Out Day panel or LGBTQ Welcome Week, or it might be helping them with a professor who's not being respectful of their pronouns and working through education, right? Or helping straight students here at SUNY New Paltz understand how they can be a better ally to the LGBTQ plus community. But my position, I feel so fortunate because it is so incredibly rewarding.
Trans Day of Remembrance is an annual event. This was the second year that we did it, and basically it's honoring all of our trans siblings who passed in the last year. We do a name reading, which is a really emotional moment. It's where when everyone walks into the event, they pick a name from a basket, and that name is someone who is trans who passed away in the last year due to anti-trans violence.
There we had a community discussion with Ray from the Newbury LGBT Center. And we talked about the safety of trans people and how we can stand together and protect trans people and each other. The importance of throwing this event on SUNY New Paltz campus is because this campus won't have this event for us, that we need to create the space for us to have this dialogue. And it's important that we remember that we are actively fighting against an administration and a history and just a pervasive cis heteronormative culture that kind of aims to erase our history and our culture.
This year there were, I think, about 386 trans folks on an international level who had passed, and that's not in mainstream media, it's not acknowledged. There's also numerous amounts of underreporting because trans people their lives aren't, mainstream necessarily. I think with more visibility and representation, that will hopefully get more rights, but not always. The current American administration, like the American establishment has always been, is a white supremacist, capitalist, colonialist, cis heteropatriarchal state. So with that being said, I think it always does what serves its most privileged members best, and the members who look like the people who founded this nation, which were slave-owning, white supremacist, cisgender men from Europe. So with that in mind, I don't believe that the people in power care about trans and gender non-conforming people. They don't care about people of color. They don't care about Native people.
I absolutely understand when students and employees come forward to share that fear. It's personal, right? There's so many things going on politically right now in the world, but when it gets hard and when it gets scary is when it's something that could impact you directly, or when it can impact someone you love, whether that be a friend or a family member, and that's not a good feeling. So many times when we hear about things in the news, it could feel so distant to us, right? Because it's not really changing our world or changing how we operate or our day-to-day functioning. But lately, some of the things that current administration have proposed at a national level could impact us.
I think it's important to note that in this administration, while it is kind of depressing and everything seems like it sucks, it's better to actively do something positive and believe in change for the future than doing nothing, than being complicit with what is terrible going on. We have to continuously organize and stay active. If you are trans, whether you are a portrait in a museum or a name on a slip of paper or a student attending a college event, you deserve to exist and deserve to be remembered.